Islam, Islam, Islam. Let's get it. We're going to go into some particulars, some case laws. We're going to get right into the legalese. We're going to get into the language of law. We're going to get into Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're going to get right into it. Islam, Islam, Islam. The great meeting is now on. Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Antoine Bate, residing in near the Texas Republic, which is a colony. This is Morocco. I'm going to get right into it. We're going to start off with Noble Drew Ali, who came on these shores and began to uplift fallen humanity. First, I want to give perfect praise to Allah, the governor of the world, who instituted government, and through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, instituted the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's our government. And I'm going to go right into the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Act 6. Before we get into the main topic of discussion, which is why the Black lives don't matter. Act 6 of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era in time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. The prophet also spoke on, in our 101 questionnaire, the prophet spoke on a couple things pertaining to the word black. This is our 101 keys. In key 85, the prophet said, name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. What are marks? Marks are trademarks. These are the bonds of straw that deluded us to slavery. The prophet said Negro, black, color, in Ethiopia. Negro, black, color, in Ethiopia. Those are some of the marks, because it was other marks placed upon us like Indian, but that was before 1774. So we all know when we come back, see, if you claim to be indigenous, you claim to be a true American, you claim to know your history and who you are, then you should know that these are marks that have been put upon us to get us out of our status, to take us out of our heirship, because we heirs of the land. See, Negro, black, and color in Ethiopia is no place for them people in history. Islam, A1, SNSL said Moors. Indeed. See, we was placed upon marks. They call us blackamoors. See, if we not Moors, then why do they come with the term blackamoor? If you follow my story on Instagram, you'll see I posted the definition of black, and inside the definition of black, the etymology contains blackamoor. So that lets you know that we was Moors first, and then they changed our names to blackamoors. So why would they make that compound word? I'm going to go to key 87. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. That's what the prophet Noble Drew Ali said. Then he said, key 90, can a man be a Negro, black, color, or Ethiopia? No. See, the prophet was talking in the science of law. If you understand what the science of law deals with, it's called jurisprudence. The prophet told us to speak Latin. Jurisprudence is a Latin word that means the science of law. So the science of law deals with us being called black. Once you call yourself black, you calling yourself dead in the eyes of the law. See, that's why these rappers, left and right, are getting mistreated. That's why these people of our hue, our complexion, are getting mistreated and short end of the stick, because as soon as you come into the court, you dead in the eyes of the law. So that's why black lives don't matter, because black means death in the science of law. So if you dead in the eyes of the law, that means that they don't consider you a living man. And a man means mind. The mind is the spirit, clothed with the soul, clothed with a body. Once you understand the moral signs of yourself. See, you've been given a false term to take you out of your jurisdiction. Because our jurisdiction is Morocco, and we got treaties and laws to prove that. Okay? And if you don't believe me, you can believe a case that that I know of called the William Dumgey case. Inside my book, Our Self-Law, I have this case in here. Okay? It's the William Dumgey versus Joseph Spencer case, a case decided by Abraham Lincoln. See, I always talk about the Dred Scott case, but let's talk about a case that took place before the Dred Scott case. Inside the book, I have 102 questions and answers. Follow me. Let's see what page I put this on. I have the Dred Scott case and the William Dumgey case in this book. So you got to know this William Dumgey case was important. This was in 1855, page 25. I put a whole page dedicated to this. The William Dumgey versus Spencer case. And I'm going to read a brief synopsis of the case. What was the outcome of the well-known Abraham Lincoln slander case involving Dumgey versus Spencer, 1855? In August 1855, William Dumgey, a dark-skinned young man of Portuguese descent, married Joseph Spencer's sister, who was a European sister. A family quarrel ensued, which became so bitter that in January 1855, Spencer claimed throughout the community that his brother-in-law, Black Bill, was a Negro. But Black Bill wasn't a Negro, he was a Moor. Lincoln filed his declaration charging Joseph Spencer with slander on April 17, 1855, and sought $1,000 in damages and won. $1,000, we talking about legal money, lawful money. We talking about silver coin. So that part been worth about $35,000 today. The brother Abraham Lincoln was a lawyer before he became the president. See, this is one of his most famous cases that he won a slander case for the Moors against one of the Europeans that was slandering the Moor and calling him black, because black in science means death. So I'm going to continue reading. The famous quote by Abraham Lincoln, he said, "My client is not a Negro. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, my client is a Moor." Okay? That's what Abraham Lincoln said in open court. He said, it's a crime to be a Negro. It's a crime to be black. He said his client is a Moor. See how many lawyers are going to court and say that to this day. You got to know what's going on. If you don't speak Latin, you don't speak legalese, you don't speak the correct language in America. I'm here to tell you, English is not the most important language here. Legalese is the most important language. And if you don't speak legalese, you're not going to know what black means, because black means death according to science. When Joseph Spencer, I'm going to continue reading. When Joseph Spencer accused his brother-in-law of being a Negro, it was more than just an assault. In 1855, if believed by local officials, an accusation of being called Negro would have resulted in the loss of his marriage, property, and his right to continue to live in the state of Illinois. Just 2 years earlier, the Illinois legislature passed the Black Codes, following a directive of the 1848 state constitution to pass such laws as will effectively prohibit free persons of color from immigrating to and settling in this state. The legislators not only prohibited free persons of color from immigrating to the state, but continued to build on the precedent established by other states by declaring 1/4 Negro blood defines a mulatto and makes a black man. So you got to understand what the Christian black codes is. I also have that in this book when we break down the Christian black codes. Okay? So just 7 years prior to this case, Dumgey versus Spencer, you can Google this. Dumgey versus Spencer, 1855 by Abraham Lincoln. Prior to this case, they had, in the state of Illinois, issued the black codes. Now, the black codes deluded us to slavery. Now, the black codes was what you might call the slave codes. But see, they didn't say slave codes because they don't want you to know you a slave. They wanted you to know that you was black. So you have to understand what happens in 1855. Because everything that happened in 1855 has everything to do with right now. And then 100 years later, you got the civil rights movement started in 1955. Now look at the timeline of that. Now that's when a time when the president named Dwight Eisenhower suspended consular court. When he suspended consular court, that's when the civil rights movement started. See, the consular court protected us when we had a proper venue to use treaty for our protection. So by us not having treaty protection, the proper venue to adjudicate the treaty, we fell into the civil rights movement. But we never supposed to be fighting for civil rights. We supposed to be fighting for human rights. See, we a human race. Civil deals with contracts. That deals with corporations and contracts. See, you got civil law and you got criminal law. So why are we fighting for civil rights? That's because we have been declared minors or minority. Minors mean people who don't know the correct language to speak. See, the correct language to speak, pardon yourself, is legalese, not English. See, a lot of y'all know English and y'all say, oh, I'm black and I'm proud. But see, English is not the most important language in this land. It's legalese. So you have to understand what legalese is. A1SNL, for pronouncing that right, say, repeat that for me, please, more. I will repeat that. Okay? See, in 1955, you have to understand the 100-year anniversary after the case versus Dumgey versus Spencer, Abraham Lincoln, they started what you call the civil rights movement. See, the civil rights movement was started to divert our energy to fight for civil rights. See, we supposed to be fighting for human rights. Only way you can fight for human rights is an international venue known as consular court. See, the consular venue was suspended when our Sultan had died. See, that's why the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, he put the Sultan in our Quran. That's why you have to study Noble Jew Ali. This man died in 1954. He was the Sultan of Morocco. He was the one anointed Noble Jew Ali. So after his death, we was reduced to the Kingdom of Morocco. And that's when the Kingdom of Morocco was born in 1954. This flag right here is 10,000 years old. This flag was before the Kingdom of Morocco. So what I'm saying is this. When you call yourself black, you put yourself in the status of dead in the eyes of the law. So you take yourself out of what Abraham Lincoln was fighting for, and that was involuntary servitude. See, involuntary servitude was illegal and still is illegal. But if you volunteer to call yourself black, that means you a minor. That means you don't understand the language that's being spoken to you. The language that's being spoken to you is not English. If you go in any courtroom and ask them, what language are we speaking? Are we speaking English? They would tell you probably no. Because they speaking what they call legalese, like Chinese, like Japanese. They have a language called legalese. And that's the language of the law. That deals with these words out of the Black's Law Dictionary, the Bouvier's Dictionary, the Barron's Dictionary, and all other lawful and legal dictionaries. See, if you don't have the proper vocabulary, then you give up jurisdiction. Even when you pulled over and they read you your Miranda rights, they tell you anything you say will and can be used against you. Why do you think they say that? Because they know you don't know the right language. See, you can volunteer servitude by calling yourself black. See, this is why black lives don't really matter, because blacks are minorities in law. They dead in the eyes of the law. Now, I'm not no way in saying that our race of people don't matter. I'm not saying that the melanin race is not important. I'm not saying that the indigenous people don't matter. But I'm saying when you contract, you have to be held to that contract that you contracting to. If you contract and say, I'm dead and I have no rights, then they have the right to hold you to that. That's called voluntary servitude. See, slavery was always called servitude, and it's a crime to be black, according to Abraham Lincoln. It's a crime to be Negro, according to Abraham Lincoln. According to the Constitution, slavery is illegal. It's always been legal. If somebody says, I want to be your servant, who is to tell somebody else that he can't be a servant? So you have to reference Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, where it says no state can impair the obligation of a contract. It says no state can impair the obligation of a contract. Think about those words. No state law or no constitution can stop you from what you contract to unless it's done by fraud. And it has been done by fraud. And that's why we have the right to proclaim our nationality. See, we can proclaim our nationality according to the Universal Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People made by the United Nations. They said everybody had the right to change their nationality. Everybody had the right to proclaim their nationality. Now, this was done 100 years after the Prophet Noble Drew Ali came on the scene. So you have to understand your rights, Moors. They gave us the word blackamoor. They gave us the word Negro, Indian, color, Latino to take us out of our political rights. See, nationality is your status correction. If you look up the term nationality under the Black's Law Dictionary, it says it determines national and political status. So for order for you to do a correct status correction, you must have allegiance to a free national government. Now, the free national government we have on this land is the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, I'm not just saying that just because I want to recruit somebody to our body politic. I'm here to tell you the truth, and I got confidence enough to give you this truth. I'm willing to put my life on the line just to give you this truth, Morris. I'm willing to dedicate my life and all my studies into providing the truth because it redeemed me from my sinful ways. It redeemed me from being civil mortus inside the courtrooms. It redeemed me from having not a correct status. So I don't care if you join the Moorish Science Temple of America or not, but you better study what the Moorish Science Temple of America is all about. You better study Noble Drew Ali, because you have a lot of gurus and master teachers out here, and I'm not trying to disrespect no one on the internet, but I just want y'all to know that the only master teacher is not Noble Drew Ali, and he brought us the remedy, and that remedy is the truth. And that's the same remedy Prophet Confucius brought. That's the same remedy that Yahshua brought, or Jesus. That's the same remedy Prophet Muhammad brought. They brought the remedy of nationality. And they make the Quran, they make this Quran our law and the rules of life. And the Prophet also gave us a divine constitution and bylaws. So you have to know that if you don't have nationality, you fall by default into whatever codes or contracts that you fall into by going into these statuses. When you call yourself, say you call yourself a servant, then they got servant laws for you. If you call yourself black, they got black laws for you. See, these laws have never been changed, and they never will be changed. That's why the Ukrainian and Russian war is going on. That's why Kanye and what's the boy Donald Trump are at odds right now, because everybody's fighting over the spoils of war. So you got some people waking you up that's in the celebrity world to know what you are. They trying to wake up the masses. That's why you got Kanye saying he's not black. That's why you got the brother Kevin Gates saying he's not black. That's why you got the brother Waka Flocka saying he's not black. That's why you got Mos Def, Yasin Bey, change his name to Yasin Bey and telling people he's not black. That's why you got Erykah Badu telling people they not black. That's why you got the singer, what's his name, Joe King, saying that they not black because they trying to wake up the masses. See, I'm just a small fish in this big old pond of things. And you just a small fish. But if we all come together and understand that we are not black and that we Moors and that we have a government that we are part and parcel of, that we can play our parts in this government, then guess what? We can overthrow and undermine this oppression that we under. See, United States of America can be one of the best governments ever in the world, but it can never be the best until we restore it back to the republic. And that's why you're seeing laws change in our favor. But these laws don't apply to you if you call yourself dead in the eyes of the law. So you gotta know your correct status out here. You have to know these things more. And that's why Black lives don't matter. It's not that I don't care about my people. It's not that these people, I don't think they don't care about us as far as Kanye West and these people that's saying these things. And I'm not endorsing Kanye West or anybody because I don't know these people personally. But what I'm saying is our race of people does matter. But until it matters to us, until it matters to the indigenous people, the Moors, who've been marked Negro, black, and colored, then we will always don't matter to the oppressors. Because the oppressors have the upper hand by they knowing the language we don't speak, and that's called legalese, Moors. So, I hope that I'll reach somebody with my message today. I'm not going to be too long-winded. Check in with me tomorrow. I have more to tell us about some more of these laws. If you haven't purchased the book, Our Self-Law, the handbook for self-law students, Circle 7, written by me, then please purchase this book. It has a lot of your laws in here, a lot of things that I just read today, like the Dumgey versus Spencer case, the Dred Scott case, that deals with why we shouldn't be calling ourselves black. So with that being said, all praises to Allah, all honors to his noble prophet, Drew Ali, and to Marcus Garvey, and to all you Moors and indigenous peoples and true Americans of North America, South America, and Central America, and adjoining islands. Know your nationality and your birthrights, Moors. Come join us in our struggle to free and uplift the fallen humanity. Signing out. Honest to the Prophet, Islam.